live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, Game 3, Nuggets, Lakers. I am Josh Engleman. I am joined by Adam Scherer. We are here to break this bad boy down. We're brought to you by No House Advantage, but first and foremost, Adam, what's going on?
How's it going? Nice to be back to basketball. It felt weird having a day off yesterday.
Yeah, part of me liked it. I didn't mind it so much since... If there wasn't an NFL game, I would have been kind of bummed that there was like literally nothing else to do. I would have had to play baseball or something. But for now,
I'm already dreading this stretch once baseball and basketball end.
Yeah, you and me both. What are we gonna play?
I don't know. Like hopefully, I don't know the League of Legends schedule. Maybe that'll come back or something. But I don't know, golf, but like and MMA's on the weekend too. Like it sucks.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun stretch Thursday through Sunday. I guess we're probably going to start getting into the Showdown slates of golf.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe I'll actually start doing football research.
Yeah, well, that might not be the worst idea in the world. I should probably change the ticker on the screen because I can tell you this much. This is not the PGA strategy show with Ben and Tim. That much I can tell you. If you're here for golf advice, I can give it to you. It's not going to be worth a shit, but we can do it. Either way, let's just dive into this right now and start talking. I tweeted out a graphic of my sim results earlier today, and you told me that I hated the best play on the slate. So we were planning on starting, or I was planning on starting with the Nuggets. I think that guy is on there. Talk to me a little bit about PJ Dozier today.
Yeah, so I mean, I was obviously being a little bit hyperbolic when I said the best play on the slate was a guy that, I had projected for 11 minutes. But I think that in the context of a showdown slate where you have a lot of stars to pay for and limited options to pay down, that he is pretty appealing. I'm refreshing our ownership projections now to make sure that they haven't changed too much from when I was looking earlier. But we haven't projected for...
18.
He's up to 19% on DraftKings. So that's higher than it was this morning. But it's still, the thing is that when you look at all of these cheap guys, you look at McGee, you look at Howard, you look at Dozier, you look at Morris, like all these guys are going to play limited minutes, most likely. You're the only reason you're rostering them is to get to as many of the main four guys from this game as you can. Dozier's coming in at a little bit less ownership, and he's like half the price of, even like JaVale McGee. He's like 65% of the salary. There's no guarantee he plays, but he did close the last game. And I guess almost more importantly, one of the main Denver beat writers I follow, someone asked him after that game, or I guess yesterday, if he expected a change in starters or the rotation for Denver. He said he didn't expect any massive changes because they really should have won that game, but that he does anticipate PJ Dozier to be in the rotation. Don't
Makes
know,
sense.
someone, I think, on Twitter and said, where are those minutes coming from? And that's basically the question I don't know the answer to. But the thing is, you're talking about a 6'6" guard. Like, he can take minutes from Harris, he can take minutes from Monte Morris, he can take minutes from Torrey Craig. Like, there's enough guys that he can replace that I don't think it'll be too much of an issue to get him 11 or 12 minutes if that's Mike Malone's idea. So I'm anticipating I have him in 11 minutes. He projects for like 8 DraftKings points, but given his ownership, given the fact that he is cheaper than all these other guys, that some of them are getting more ownership, I think that as far as as excited as you can get about a play on the showdown slate, I think it's a good one.
Yeah, given the way that he closed, I mean, he played the final 14-ish minutes, 14.1 minutes. He was +1 in that time, so it's not like they got blown off the floor.
He did miss 4 free throws.
Yeah, that part's not great. Hey, just think he could have been +5.
Right.
You mentioned, I don't really have much to say. Like, it wouldn't shock me if he didn't play. I expect him to play. I think that makes him a really nice value option at 1,400. If he's 18% owned, my sim is actually saying that he should be owned even more than that, so I'm likely going to have a lot. You mentioned getting minutes from Torrey Craig. I thought it was really interesting to see. I hadn't gone back and looked through other games. Torrey Craig and Jeremy Grant were direct backups for each other. Every moment one was on the floor, the other one wasn't.
Yeah, you more or less saw that in game one also. The difference was that that game blew out and Jeremy Grant still played 37 minutes basically in 3 quarters, whereas last game Grant played 25, 26 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting spot to project too, because my assumption is that Grant plays closer to his normal minutes. I have it at 36 minutes for Grant, 12 for Craig. that obviously could be wrong. But my assumption is that they split 48 minutes. I gave Gary Harris 30, and that's where I gave Harris 30 and I gave Monte Morris 13. So that's where most of, or I guess all of Dozier's minutes came from. But my point in mentioning Craig was that you could just have Dozier out there, and like you could run a Murray, Dozier, Harris lineup and be fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, the one guy that really doesn't matter in this equation based on what we just said is Jeremy Grant. 9,900 in the captain spot, 6,600 in the utility spot. Not showing up all that popular for me in the sim, not all that popular in general. I don't really care what happens to his minutes because I don't think he's super viable from a showdown perspective today.
Yeah. From like an overall standpoint, and I mean, I haven't talked to you about it, so let me know if you disagree, but I talked about it with Lofty. This game is just like such a stark contrast to the Boston-Miami game from a roster construction standpoint, because in the Boston-Miami game, basically they run such tight rotations that you're not getting anything out of the backups, excluding, Gordon Hayward basically, and then Tyler Hero. And there's also not the LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic superstars. Jason Tatum is up there, but he's not as expensive. So whereas I think it's you're putting yourself at a really big disadvantage by forcing in guys like Brad Wanamaker on those slates. It's the exact opposite here because there's not really that mid-range. Like the mid-range here is Jeremy Grant instead of Kemba Walker. Yeah. So, why am I sacrificing the top end to get more Jeremy Grants in my lineup?
Yeah, like, I mean, captain ownership isn't the end all be all, but 76% of the time in my sim, it shows up as one of the four big studs here. That is, you're not getting 76% across four dudes from Boston and Miami. There's going to be like 8 different guys that are fully viable in that regard. It's just a very different top-heavy structure on a day like today in comparison to Celtics Heat. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Time to hit on a prop or two from No House Advantage. I'll give you a little bit more details on them in a little bit. But first, we got to talk Nikola Jokic. 39.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. How are you feeling about Jokic there? This was previously 40.5 and 41.5. So I think it's a little interesting that it's creeping down. Do you think Jokic gets over 40 across all three stats?
I have him at 43.7.
Sounds like a yes, and a pretty sizable bet on that over as well. Like that seems like it would rank pretty high for you given the slate.
Yeah, definitely think that it looks like a good bet.
Let's see what
I only have him at 38 minutes too, so it's not even like I over projected him or anything.
What did you say you had him at?
38 minutes.
No, the total for the prop.
Oh, 43.7.
Okay, I have him at 41.5, so even I like the over. Either way, if you're playing No House Advantage, I'm over, Adam's over. Sounds like you should be too. Let's touch on the other stud from Denver. Jamal Murray over under 2.5 threes made. Probably not ready for that one.
Threes made?
Yeah. You ready for that?
I don't even know. I don't know the answer to that one.
All right. What's your first guess then?
Like exactly 3.
Okay. Let's see. I have him at 7.6 threes at 40%, apparently. Kudos to you for that. So that's 3.04. So yeah, I'm taking the over as well. Do you feel more confident?
You said you have him at 3?
3.04.
Man, I'm good at this. That was just like if I had to set a line on Jamal Murray threes off the top of my head, it would have been 3.
The nerve of you to say that you're good at this when talking to me is just that's pretty rich.
The problem when we did our head-to-head was I was using computers and not my brain.
Oh, sure. Look, whatever you got to blame it on, it's fine. I'll go put that shirt on. I need No House Advantage to send me a t-shirt. That way I can wear it. And Awesemo.com, but that's neither here nor there. Guys, hit that like button. Yeah, 2 Christmases ago, Tom.
Yeah.
I hope you heard that. I'm just kidding. We have 692 people here, 104 likes. That is just not enough whatsoever. So please hit that thumbs up. Also, shout out to Sam French for the super chat. That came in 8 minutes ago and I missed it with just simply the message, "I'm poor, let me win." I hope you win, man. I hope you win. Just hit the likes early. We need questions. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Hit the likes early. Let's touch on a couple other Nuggets guys first before I give you guys the No House Advantage spiel. To me, Michael Porter Jr. is basically unplayable at 7,600. Does not grade out well. Does not get ownership either. Paul Millsap, it's up to you to figure out how many minutes the guy's going to play, whether or not he's going to close. It can be basically anywhere from 24 to 34. The way that I have him in here right now, I think that he looks honestly like a decent play given his ownership. But the floor is yours. What else stands out to you from Denver?
I mean, not a whole lot outside of Jokic and Murray. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying about there not really being a good mid-range or any mid-range on this slate. Michael Porter, if you wanted to talk about someone that is just not going to get ownership and at least has the potential to score, then it's him. But it's so hard to see him getting a bunch of minutes. And you also have to keep in mind that even if he does somehow get minutes, he's still going to be the third scoring option behind Jokic and Murray. So, I mean, it's really tough to get to that price point. Millsap is a little more expensive than I would like. I have him in for 27 minutes. We already talked about Grant kind of being at a price point that you're not going to get to. Gary Harris, I can get the same thing from KCP or Danny Green for $1,000 less. Yeah. It's pretty much Jokic, Murray, and then just throwing darts at cheap guys, specifically PJ Dozier.
Yeah, or hoping you get lucky with whatever goes on for Monty Morris, Torrey Craig, Mason Plumlee, right. Potentially. Like you're going to have to get a little weird with those guys. I will say this, in the times that Porter was in an optimal from the utility perspective, he averaged 33 fantasy points. Like that's a pretty big number for him, given I have him projected significantly lower than that. What do you have his projection at for the game?
Who is that, Plumlee?
No, Porter Jr.
Oh, Porter Jr. 21.
Yeah, so I have him at 21 as well. I think you need like 30 plus from him. That's a big time jump up from a baseline. I mean, you need him to get there from a minutes perspective, really. You need him to get a rotation you don't expect him to get. Because he's just too expensive. Do you think he's like? Why do you think he's is he priced correctly?
He's priced like tournament correctly.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like it's way too high for his median. But if he were 5K, so that he's priced kind of correctly for his median, then he would be a legitimate tournament play, and he would probably get a lot of ownership. So I wouldn't say he's priced correctly since he's getting like zero, less than 10% ownership. He's pretty clearly overpriced even for tournaments. But he is the kind of guy where if you're talking about tournaments, his salary should be higher than his median projection suggests it should.
Should he be the third most expensive Nugget?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the case as well. I mean, I think what the real problem is that go ahead.
I think like every Nugget between Jamal Murray and Torrey Craig are $1,000 too expensive.
See, I was going to say that I think that the real problem is that the four studs need to be slightly more expensive to open up that upper middle tier range a little bit more. You just we project Jamal Murray for 60% ownership because he's 9,400. Like you just kind of have to go to him in a large chunk of these. Shout out to Colin Lucas. Thanks for the 40K last night, you two. Congrats on the 40K. I believe you tagged us on Twitter about it last night. I was happy to see it when I woke up in the morning. That was not the only news I saw when I woke up this morning, but we won't talk about that one.
It was better than the rest of it.
Yeah. That one's the actual good news of the day. Anything else you want to touch on from the Nuggets?
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about No House Advantage. I think you guys should go sign up right now. Use the promo code Awesemo. Get yourself $20 in a free play on your first deposit, and then refer a friend and you can get another $5. It's not about just putting together a fantasy point lineup. You're trying to pick props correctly. I'm going to pull it up on the screen right now. So this is for the Western Conference Showdown. It's a 1K to first contest, 2K overall. It's only 67% full, so I recommend getting into it right now. $10 entry fee. You got to pick props. They offer props for almost every player. Like all the players that are going to be relevant, they're not going to have like over under a half minute for bowl or something. That would be terrible. But if you click on someone like Jamal Murray, you can select 24.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2.5 threes. Now you can't take more than one from an individual player. So let's just say that you're really confident about Jamal Murray's threes, for example. You can take that. I put it in the 5-point slot. Then I take the over. That would be my primary prop. I then have to pick one that's worth 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. Then you're in. Goal is to acquire as many points as possible. So I think you should go check it out. No House Advantage is the place to be. Again, the promo code is Awesemo. Get yourself a $20 free play and a $5 referral bonus once you refer a friend. Now we go to the Los Angeles Lakers. But before we do that, just one more thing. Hit that like button because I haven't asked for 5 minutes. And if you're looking to play this slate, 26 minutes until lock, you can actually use our projections today. They are free. So go check them out. Is it LeBron or AD?
I lean toward AD if ownership is similar. Right now we have almost identical ownership. I have a slight lean towards AD. A little bit cheaper, same projection.
Sure. I actually have a slightly higher projection going to LeBron and a slight lean to LeBron, but I mean, it's so minimal that it's not really a lean in either direction. Do you like them both more than the Nuggets guys?
I like them both more than Murray.
Okay.
I think it's close with Jokic. The fact that Jokic is getting a lot more ownership makes me like them both, but obviously I expect to have one of the Nuggets guys in there too.
Hey, DFS Sports and Randomness with Adam. Don't think that's going to shake out all that much. He works for a competitor now, so probably not going to see him on for the playoffs. Anyway, yeah. This is not going to be a specific Lakers question. It's sort of a more holistic question. Who is your favorite captain that isn't one of the big four?
Dozier.
Okay. I'm going to go with Caruso, and that's not just because of Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer is one of those two, just the really cheap guys.
Okay.
Caruso is probably a better answer because the minutes should be higher. It's just I haven't built a lineup with him at captain, so I'm not sure if you can get all four like you can with Dozier.
Let's talk about the rest of this Lakers team then, because I don't think that we have a ton to add with regards to LeBron and AD. So Rondo feels like an interesting play because there's no real ownership going to him, but he's just super expensive. Is it KCP, Danny Green? Does another Laker stand out to you other than Caruso, I guess?
Not stand out, but I think that Green / KCP is going to be really useful. I would just kind of be flipping back and forth between them.
Okay. No preference. I mean, I don't have a preference either. They're separated by 1% in the sim.
Yeah, like I guess slight preference would go to KCP because he probably plays a couple more minutes, but I think it's really close.
What about Kuzma?
It's basically just that I would rather I think you're going to need someone like one of them, Gary Harris or like Kuzma to fit into your lineup, and I prefer those.
Speaking of Kuzma, 7,800 in the captain spot, 5,200 in the utility, 17% ownership. I've got the sim a little bit higher. Is that a guy you want to get to? I don't know what to make of him. I never feel like he's even involved in these games.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like I'm getting to a little bit of him in my flex spot.
Okay.
But I'm sure that's just because, it's a one-game slate.
Sure.
It's not anybody I feel really confident about. The usage has been down. The minutes are down, and his salary is not that inexpensive. Like, even if I'm in for 24 minutes, which I think is a little bit high, and I used his rates from including the regular season, which are higher than his playoff rates, and I'm still not getting to a lot of them. So I think if you were to, account for the fact that Davis and LeBron are going to have the ball even more because it's a playoff game, and that it's more likely he plays like 22 minutes than 24, then obviously he's going to look even worse than I projected him for.
Wow, I got a lot of Mason Plumlee on that crunch.
That's a good time.
No, I'm going to walk that back a little bit because I don't think I need 60% of him. It
so
feels like that might not work.
You and I talked before the show about groups and kind of not really caring too much on this particular slate. Yeah. Now that I've kind of gotten some lineups and I'm getting tons of PJ Dozier with Monte Morris, I've decided I don't think that's one that I want.
I did not get a single share of Monte Morris in my lineups right now, so I do not have that same conundrum that you are walking into. I mean, I don't...
Yeah, I only have like... In Crunch, I'm only getting 5%, but for whatever reason, those like all pop to the top.
Are you getting all four studs then?
No,
like a lot of 3+.
Yeah,
Caruso?
like my top lineup, and this isn't one I'm playing because I'm redoing them right now with that change in settings, but was Jokic a captain, Dozier, Morris, Green, Davis, LeBron.
Okay, yeah, so one dude from that middle tier, the pay down, 3 studs. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. All of my captains are studs for right now. I'm not playing like a huge amount of lineups today. Just enough to sit back on the couch and have something to sweat.
My showdown model that I use is still kind of a work in progress. So at first I was getting a bunch of cheap captains, so I just changed some stuff so that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, right now I'm slowly but surely taking Mason Plumlee out of 60% of my lineups because that is enough to make me sick to my stomach. I don't even think the 35% feels correct, but if it's getting to the top for a reason, then I don't want to totally throw it in the garbage. I've built a new mechanism to easily sort those lineups out and bring up stuff from the bottom, so I've been pretty happy with that. A lot of Dozier, though. Okay, give me, what percentage of the time does PJ Dozier not see the floor?
Including, so weighing in, or going under the assumption that the Denver beat writer has some idea what he's talking about. What percentage doesn't he see the floor? I would say 35.
Okay. I was thinking 25. I think we're in the, split the difference, call it 30 seems about right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying. One in three shot of playing and rostering a guy in 92.5% of my lineups that doesn't play.
But I mean, the thing is too, and like I said before, so obviously if he doesn't play, you're not winning a tournament. But it's not like you can't still get money back on that lineup. Yeah. Like the most likely outcome is that people pay $800 more for 10 points from JaVale McGee. So like you're at a disadvantage, but it's not like it's not like any of these cheap guys are projected for 20 and you just like lost out.
He showed up in the optimal utility spot for me 36% of the time. When he did that, he averaged 7 fantasy points. So
right. That's the thing. I haven't projected for eight DraftKings points.
Yeah.
In Fantasy Cruncher, I'm getting him. So, and I put exposure caps into Fantasy Cruncher, so I would be getting even more. I'm getting 45%, which puts him behind Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, LeBron James, PJ Dozier.
Right. There you go. Yeah. The lack of fantasy points there is not at all a deterrent to me.
Right. Again, complete opposite of the Boston game. Tell me I'm rostering someone in that Boston game that's getting 7 points, and I'm throwing him out immediately.
Yeah, there's too many different options for scoring. Pat Fitzgerald says, I'm with you tonight, Josh. I got a lot of PJ Dozier. We're going down with the ship together.
I'm logging off of Twitter as soon as this game starts. As soon as like Monte Morris and Torrey Craig check in ahead of PJ Dozier, I'm just closing Twitter.
I mean, there's a pretty good argument for doing that one way or the other. All right, I'm going with this. We're going to call that a day. 40 lineups in. Let's do it. Let's get those locked and loaded. And I'm sharing these again, so stop stealing my lineups, everybody, and hit that like button since I've got the screen share going for the first time in ages. We're going to try to work that back into the fold.
All right, so it's 19 minutes till lock. I'm finishing up my showdown lineups right now. I haven't started making my 2-game slate lineups. What is the live line on me getting those in before lock?
I don't think that it's particularly likely. I mean, if it is, this is going to be, I might as well just crop you out of the show for the final 5 minutes, which would probably make it better one way or the other.
All right, yeah, this lineup's a lot better. So out of my top 150 lineups, it looks like I'm getting 63% Dozier. That's about what you said too. You said 92%, right?
Yeah. I don't really mind it. Like I kind of just want to have all of those combinations. Like if that doesn't go well, I'm okay with it. Actually, now that you say that, I feel like I probably should take it back at least like a hair. Let's go to 70. This is turning into who the hell did you overplay? Preston Williams? Yeah, this is turning into Preston Williams from Sunday. So, guys, if you didn't watch our recap show on Monday, myself, Adam, and Laffy broke down some of the stuff that we did. So the Preston Williams thing is a joke from that show. You guys should go watch it. We're gonna do that show every Monday, recapping the weekend. Should be good. Okay, I walked my PJ Dozier down to 65. I feel a little bit better there. Is there anything else you want to think about from this slate, just from a holistic perspective? Anything that stands out to you? Any particular construction that you're interested in? I mentioned to you before the slate started, I might as well mention it to everybody else. 6% of the time, 2 of the 4 studs were in the optimal. 89% of the time was 3 of 4. 4% of the time had all 4. So 90% of the time, you should expect to see 3 of the 4 main guys from this game in the optimal. That is not what you're seeing in Celtics Heat.
No, complete opposite.
Yeah.
Any issues having Jokic and Plumlee both at flex?
I don't think so.
Like, I mean, obviously it's not my favorite, but
yeah,
I played it in 1 out of my 3 main lineups, which whatever. He's like Plumlee's so cheap, and basically I just didn't want Murray in all 3 of my lineups, and that was the next one up.
I mentioned about Dozier's average score before when he's in the utility spot. In the 21% of lineups that Mason Plumlee was there, he averaged 12 points in the utility. So Mason Plumlee getting 12 points, even having Jokic, I don't think is something that, like, it's not prohibitive.
Right.
It's so much different than having to hit the 3K baseline on a normal slate in comparison now, where I don't think that those sort of things matter. Not nearly as much, at least. Alrighty, what am I gonna play? I think that's gonna be Cat. That doesn't sound good. What are you manning? So
I lost a bunch of Excel stuff the other day, and my NBA sheet now goes back to July 30th. And there's nothing in it. Cool.
Highly recommend that you save everything to Google Drive.
Yeah, I don't know why I hadn't done that.
Because they have version history on there, and that has saved me a lot over the past couple of weeks. All right, I'm just going to put this final lineup in, guys, and then I think that we should all start taking some questions. At the very least, I will take some questions while Adam doesn't listen.
No, I found that I should be good.
Well, good. Let's put this in here and put this here, paste, and save and upload. Let's answer some questions. Feel free to drop any questions into YouTube chat. Feel free to drop any questions into premium Slack. We can hit on anything you want. So drop them in. We got the goods. Let's see what YouTube chat has to say so far. And hit that like button since we're asking questions. Oh, wow. DFS Sports and Randomness says, ship my money, about to win 100K tonight. I'm calling it.
I don't think I'm playing anything that has 100K to first. Oh, I guess that like random lottery. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Sean Michael, I cannot ask that question on this stream. That is super, super not okay. Made me laugh though, man. It got caught by the spam filter, lucky enough, and then El Negro Loco got it. 3 top plays for cash. That's a good question.
Sounds like a question for you, since you are a degenerate.
Yeah. So, look, it's got to. The only real answer is 3 of the 4 studs. I don't really think it matters which one it is. I think Jokic and or Murray are probably the preferred option at captain in that ideal, and if you're going to anybody else, it's got to be Caruso. So 3 of the 4 main guys plus Caruso is the best baseline, I think, for DK Cash. Oh God, dude, Chad is on one today. A. Olsen says, need your 100 yards and a touchdown pick, Josh, so I can work on NFL tonight. Why? You need somebody to be right? I got my pick correct this past Sunday. The jinx is off already. I'm all over this. And I tried to put the jinx on everybody, but I got it right anyway. I had Taylor. Got lucky. Torrey Craig is in the optimal on DK. Yeah, that's... I don't want to say that wouldn't shock me, because that only happens 1 out of every 5 times or something. But yeah, 2,800, no reason not to. Especially if he continues to split minutes and gets more. McGee or Plumlee on FanDuel? Have you looked at FanDuel at all?
No.
Just on the surface, to me, that would be Plumlee.
McGee 7K, Plumlee 6,500. I think it would be McGee unless McGee's getting a lot more ownership.
Really?
I mean, I haven't projected higher. I have him at like the same number of minutes.
I have Plumlee higher than McGee.
I think
I'm sure you could have known that based on me getting all of the Mason Plumlee on that crunch before too.
Yeah, I mean, I have Plumlee at 10 minutes. I have McGee at like 11 or 12.
Alrighty, what else we got? Is Jokic at MVP good for FanDuel? Yes, there are. As far as I'm concerned, there are only 4 options for MVP at FanDuel. So any one of those 4 are fine. But you can't. I don't think that you could take a non-Big 4 MVP. Let's see. Sam French, another super chat. I'm 40. Am I too old for a backwards hat? Well, I don't plan on stopping wearing a backwards hat in 4 years when I join you at that mark. So I would say no. Maybe we need to change. Maybe I need a different hat. Maybe I need to get one of those like newspaper boy hats or something like that. Start dressing my age. Best plays for cash in the 2-game slate. Adam, you playing any 2-day cash games?
I'm not. I'm crunching those lineups now, so I have some idea in a minute of what's showing up. I can actually just kind of pull up what my optimal would be pretty quickly and figure it out. Just give me a minute. There it is.
Let me
know. So assuming DraftKings.
Sure.
Looks like a lot. Yeah, it looks like you're playing $3,500 Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
And then you're playing, for me, it's Davis because I haven't projected the same as LeBron. Caruso looks like the value. $3,900 Danny Green is in like 95% of my top projected lineups too.
We got a question from Just Samesy that I actually talked a lot about in my DMs before the show started. Risk with Dozier at captain or safe for Jokic at captain tonight? The problem with going to PJ Dozier at captain is that you pretty much end up playing the exact same lineup as everybody else. You're going to be doing that so that you free up enough money to play all 4 studs, and then Caruso fits. Otherwise, you're dropping down from Caruso, or you need to leave out Murray for Porter or Rondo. So as long as you're not going to the PJ Dozier, Caruso 4 studs lineup, which I think is going to get duped a lot given the salary structure for it, there's a way to go there for PJ Dozier at captain. You just have to realize that, like, if you played this slate 100 times, you're probably only happy like once or twice. So, for the other 90 days of your month, you're going to be truly unhappy.
The problem I have with that one, it's something that I run into a lot, and I've kind of just had to fix on the fly with my Showdown model, is that you it's one thing to punt a flex spot. Punting your captain with someone like Dozier, whose ceiling is pretty limited. Like, the game has to go, something weird has to happen for Dozier to actually get like 20 minutes or something and put up a real score. That you're kind of wasting that spot, whereas people are going to be able to. So like if let's say PJ Dozier goes and gets 7 points, so his captain scores like 10 and a half. You're probably better off just having the 7 points at flex and then taking the 1.5x on LeBron James Davis and getting the raw score from like Danny Green or something. Like,
yeah,
it just limits your ceiling unless something really, 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 really weird happens.
Between that and like the just forced construction of what the rest of the lineup gets, I don't really love it unless you have to leave one of those main 4 guys off the table. When Dozier did show up in the captain spot, on average he had 11.6 fantasy points. So if you get to like 13 or 14 in the captain spot, he's live, but you're gonna need 225 or more out of LeBron, AD, Jokic, and Murray. You'll need a big one, and then you'll need to be exactly right on Caruso, Morris, Craig, Plumlee, McGee, whoever you go to in that group of 4. It's just a really tough sell. It seems a lot easier to go to Dozier at utility, especially because he's not picking up that much ownership. unless he's me. McGee captain. Yeah, sort of the same scenario, only worse, probably.
Yeah, like he's more expensive.
Yeah. Damn, Josh, you don't look 36, brother. I hope you mean that the good way. I hope I look more 26 than 46. Tell you what, I feel 66. All right, 6 minutes to go until lock. If you don't have your lineups in now, you can be like Adam and slowly scramble to do it. How's that looking?
It's going to be done. I don't know how good they'll be, but it's done.
I guess that's a victory.
I mean,
FanDuel,
not much time for like quality control, but
Jokic or LeBron on FanDuel? Got to be LeBron for me.
I'll say I just X'd out of all my stuff. So that's going to be a minute for me.
Okay. How many minutes for Dwight Howard?
I have him at 14.
I believe I have him at 12. Let's see what else we got. A perfect opportunity now. 5 minutes to go. So shout out to No House Advantage for being the sponsor. Shout out to all of chat for getting us to 252 likes, 855 people in here. If we can get it over 300, you won't hear me ask again for the next 5 minutes. We almost had 900 people here. We had 899. I wish I could go back in time and try to tell you guys to tell your friends. But hit that thumbs up. It helps us out a ton. We got a full slate of content coming up tomorrow night. So be ready for that, or tomorrow all day. So be ready for that. Are you going to play this golf tournament this week? Have you looked at it yet?
Probably. I haven't looked at it.
Shit, there's barely real people in it.
I did, I think, see that. Like I saw some list of names of who was in it, and I was just like, I don't know who any. Oh, I saw the favorites, and Will Zalatoris or whatever is like a co-favorite, and I rostered him last week, having no idea who he was. So then I looked him up. So I figured if he's the favorite, that there weren't many guys playing.
Yeah, I had 30% of that bad boy this past weekend. If it wasn't for Patrick Reed deciding to not play golf for the final 27 holes, Josh had a lot of money on the table. Still profitable for golf. It was great, but that dude made me inverse sweat, whatever that means. Sean Michael with the super chat. This one I could actually read. Thanks for the fire, guys. Good luck, everyone. EMAC popping up saying that he saw me in the DK Cash lobby and to stay out of his 3-mans. I'm coming for you, man. I'm grinding your stuff now. Competition is real.
God, I wish I could play against EMAC.
I'm sure he loves that. I wish his camera was on for that stream right now. I would love to see his reaction in like 15 seconds when that audio gets to him. It's so good. Stop explaining about our boy Dozier ship. If people don't want to eat, let them starve. How many minutes do you think Dwight Howard gets? Literally just answered that question. Let's see if the Nuggets can come back from 3-0. It would be really exciting if they actually won that last game, but AD's buzzer beater is kind of dope since he just shouted out Kobe after he hit it.
How terrible is having all four of Caldwell Pope, Rondo, Green, and Caruso in a 2-game lineup?
I mean, it doesn't feel good.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Like, not at all. Zhang. Here's the winning lineup on FanDuel tonight. MVP Dozier, star Dwight. No, okay, none of this is that. I didn't realize it was fake. Pro spot was Torrey Craig. Then Kiki Vandeweghe and Fat Lever is the second utility spot. I didn't get all the way down before I started reading it. Just thought I was being nice and reading a nice question. This is sort of a good question from Checkout Checks. When you MME, do you still put your 10 to 15 of your highest optimal lineups in with the idea that you're okay to chop and then go contrarian with the other lineups? So I don't. No.
I mean, sometimes my top whatever lineups just end up being lineups that I play, but it's not intentional.
Yeah. So right out of the gate, the 500 most chalky lineups that I have that I generate for the slate are automatically in the garbage, regardless of how they rank for me. After that, if any of my top lineups sort to the top, that's great. But the chances of me having an ultra chalky lineup in the GPP in comparison to what could really be chalky is basically zero. Emac says, Adam, I have head-to-heads posted on Yahoo for NFL for $1. So you can get those at least.
That is true.
You're about to buy dinner this weekend. Caruso or Grant on FanDuel, same price.
That's close.
Probably Grant.
Grant, just based on minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're the same price, like obviously that's a little different on DK where Jeremy Grant is $3,000 more expensive.
Yeah.
Rondo and Murray or LeBron and Green? LeBron and Green.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? It doesn't matter what else we've got. It's 8:59 Eastern time. Adam, get your stuff in. You've got 37 seconds. And at this point, since any answers that I give you guys to questions are pretty useless because you're not going to get anything in, best of luck to everybody tonight. I'm excited to go watch this game. I'm definitely rooting for the Nuggets just because I want as much basketball as I could possibly get. In particular, I am rooting for... I can't even remember who I made my playoff pick to be today. I'm rooting for Gary Harris to go crazy because that's one of the few Nuggets I have left in my playoff contest. It's not good. It's not good. Gary Harris, who I probably have 0 shares of in my actual lineups. No, that's not true. No, it is true. Literally 0. So the guy that I need the most in my playoff contest is a guy that I do not have in a single one of my DFS lineups. Fantastic. Josh, I love the mullet. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. I need to get a haircut. It's so fuzzy now. It's just everywhere. Ugh. It's like the back of a broom. Anyway, you get your stuff in?
Yep.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Let's go watch some basketball. Good luck tonight. Thank you to No House Advantage for being the presenting sponsor of this show. We're very happy to have them. Please go check it out. Use the promo code Awesemo when signing up. Get yourself that $20 free play and a $5 additional deposit if you refer a friend and they make a deposit. Good luck. I hope that you guys finish one spot behind me, so that's fine. I'll take a solo win. You guys can chop second. That works. So do that. Thumbs up on your way out the door. Good luck. We're out.